What's up, guys? So today I wanted to just kind of discuss and talk about 13 courses I played starting on Friday, July 1st, and then ending on Monday, yesterday, July 4th. Just kind of do a little breakdown, do a little review. I don't really feel like I do this enough, and I played a ton of courses, so I feel like some of them could have been lost, and I just didn't post about some of them. So yeah, I just wanted to go over all of them in one video. The course name and where it is and the rating, I think, should all pop up about right here. I might put a little bit more too. We'll see how much I can fit in while I'm editing. So first course I played was the Mauston disc golf course in Mauston, Wisconsin. It's about an hour away from La Crosse, Wisconsin. So this one I was pretty sad about. From what I saw in the reviews on UDisc, it looked pretty decent. Looked like it was gonna have some cool elevation, had disc catcher baskets. It said it had tee signs and pads, but when I got there, it was a big disappointment. I planned on filming here, and then I just couldn't because the content just wouldn't have been good. It just wasn't playable. The tee pads on some of the holes were just non-existent. Sometimes when the tee pads weren't there, because they had, on the ones that they were there, it was like a foam black pad, which was fine, but when it wasn't there, there was sometimes at least like a wooden barrier where they had mounted those rubber pads, but like the tee pads, I found one like in the woods next to it. It was weird. So they were there, I guess, but some of them actually had the tee pads, some of them didn't. And then hole one had a tee sign, and then after that, none of them had the actual signs, or had I guess it only had the wood for the tee sign. It didn't even have like the description of the hole. Hole two, on the other hand, only had, like, they must have nailed it onto the sign. It was weird, but they had the tee like sign with the pictures of where the holes would be, or like the description of the hole, but not like the pole that it was connected to. It was very weird. But yeah, it had 6 holes, it was disc catchers, and it looked like it'd be some slight elevation, stuff like that, some wood shots, and looked really fun. But then a couple of the holes weren't even playable, or safe, I should say. You could play them. I was able to play them, so I counted as a course played, but it was a lot of try and like be careful. There was like big trunks of trees that were like falling down and just cover the fairway. You couldn't even see the basket because of it. And then there was just like widow makers everywhere, so you had to be careful that none of those fell on you, stuff like that. So it's very dangerous. I thought the course had a lot of potential, but just didn't get the love it deserved and needed, and yeah, it was a rough one because of that. After that, I was lucky enough though to play probably the top course of the weekend, or tied for it, I would say. They got the pros and cons, but this is one of the top 2 for sure. Justin Trail's Big Brother. So Justin Trail's Big Brother is one of 2 properties on the Justin Trail's property, and it is in Sparta, Wisconsin. It's pay to play. This is $10, but we'll get back to that. It has some nice Prodigy baskets. It also had a couple of tee pads, so there was like short and long in some of the holes, and some of the holes had extra. I really don't, like, there was not even a UDisc like layout for the silver baskets that were out there. I think they were chain stars. We didn't play them, so I don't remember. But they were on some of the holes, so I don't really know when you were supposed to play what, or like how that would work. UDisc only showed the long pads or the short pads to the Prodigy baskets. But those holes were awesome. It's a very tough physical course. A lot of long holes. Hole 1 over 1,000 feet, and then the elevation there was just insane. If you weren't going up and down a hill, you were throwing it far. If that like describes how tough a course it was, you're always just going up and down elevation or throwing it on a bomb. But it was a lot of fun. I can imagine there's tournaments there, and I can imagine those rounds take a long time because that was a long course to play, but it was a lot of fun. Definitely not cart friendly for our cart users out there. And then the third course I played, which was super nice. So go back to that, it costs $10 to get on, but there's two properties on the Justin Trails. There's the Big Brother, and then there's the Classic. The Classic is using is using the Chain Stars. Oh, sorry. Big Brother is 19 holes because there's a 10A and 10B. That's not on UDisc. I don't really know why, or the long tees wasn't. I think there are layouts that use it, but both holes are really fun, so definitely got to play both 10A and 10B. But yeah, so there's 18 at the Classic, but they use Chain Star baskets, but it's not nearly as hard, a lot shorter, still pretty, like, it can be pretty challenging if you're a new player. Both concrete pads have nice signs to them. So yeah, great course. Not as fun as the Big Brother for me, because that one was just super challenging, a lot of fun. But it was really nice post Big Brother to go to the Classic, and just by that time I was pretty tired, but at least felt a lot easier because going from one to the other. I guess I played 14 courses, not 13. I just accidentally put Justin Trails, both of them as 2 on accident. So course 4 was called Legacy Greens. It's in Onalaska, Wisconsin, at this church. I was really excited just to play like glow around there. It looked really nice. It had some nice Mach 5s there. And it was 9 holes, no tee signs. I think it's brand new. If I recall, it wasn't there about April when I've been lacrosse a lot for track meets and stuff, and I don't remember ever seeing this, so it must be pretty new. But so there's no tee signs, but I feel like they might be putting those in because of all the other progress they put into it. They have nice turf tee pads, which you don't really see that much, so it's fun to use something that I haven't used like really ever. And then Mach 5 baskets. They pretty much use the property as well as they can. There's a few open shots. There's a nice one really fun tunnel shot, but there's 2 pretty scary shots where you have to throw over the like driveway, and that can be really sketchy. One of those is the tunnel shot. Once you get out of the tunnel, it crosses the road. But overall, the holes are pretty fun. It's a very ace friendly course. A lot of short ace runs. But there's a review, and I also experienced it. I don't know how, since it's right in the middle of the city, but like the only place where I was destroyed by mosquitoes out of the 14 courses I played this weekend, it was so bad. Some of the worst mosquitoes I've ever like encountered. UDisc someone put, it's really buggy in there. Yeah, so like I don't know what it is, multiple times. So if you go there, watch out for bugs. Bring some bug spray because it is bad. Those mosquitoes were awful. Me and the guys playing with were just dying. Now I got hole 5. So I played those first 4 on Friday. I woke up on Saturday, and I was driving from La Crosse to Okoboji, Iowa. I played Martin County West in Sherburne, Minnesota. This was probably one of my favorite school courses I've ever played. This was just 9 holes around the school. It was dirt pads, but it had a wood planks, you know where it was, and then the signs were just yellow poles, but they stood out enough that you could find them. It was a mix of like pretty long, like 350 foot around there, in the 300s, and then there's some 100 and 200s. So it was like a mix of shots. It wasn't just a bunch of little short ones, and I've also been to some school courses where it was just a bunch of long ones. So to see the mix of that was awesome. They pretty much used the property as well as they could. There were some wooded shots. There's some even their open shots. There was still trees or bushes scattered around the whole. So yeah, it was probably one of my favorite school courses I've ever played. I really enjoyed it. They did a really good job, and they used, I don't think I mentioned this, but they used Mach 1s, I believe. I don't know. They were ones you could move around, but they just kind of bolted them into the ground. But they weren't very I don't know. I think they're like Mach 1s, my guess. It doesn't say on your disc. So then I go to course number 6, Camp Okoboji. It is 18 holes, but it is only 17 holes are playable. And I guess I should mention, all of these have been, Legacy Greens on Alaska course, only unavailable on Sunday mornings for church. Martin County West, obviously limited hours, can't play during the school. Camp Okoboji, you have to, I don't know exactly when their camp hours are, but if they're in camp, you can't go there. But someone who used to go to this camp and was getting married at this camp pretty much said that it's pretty much open all the time. It's very rarely that they're not, like, they're actually having stuff going on and you can't play it. But yeah, 18 holes, but you can only play 17. They used Mach 3s, very unsafe course. We had grass tee pads, and then our signs were orange poles with numbers on them. But like a lot of camp courses I've played, they just kind of stuck baskets where they could. You had to throw over roads, you had to throw like in between cars, and it was just dangerous. We were playing with a big group, and I really didn't want to play a lot of the holes, even as the most experienced player there, but some of the other guys did, and because I was scared of hitting cars because they were right next to the basket. We would send people ahead to block the disc, which is dangerous of itself. It was a very dangerous course. Next, I have Kincaid Park in Milford, Iowa. And this is 9 holes in a tiny park. You had grass tee pads. It was kind of a maze in there. Like, all the holes were so close to each other. Everything was just on top of each other. There's no signs, and then it was Mach 2 baskets. Yeah, like I walked in to this park, and like it was so confusing because like there were so many baskets just so next to each other. I can't imagine a lot of people play, but if there was more than like 3 groups playing or 3 individuals playing on different holes, like you'd be throwing it on top of each other. It's just another unsafe one right next to a playground. Yeah, just another one was not a fan of. Course number 8, we're at Westleaf Park in Spencer, Iowa. We had Mach 3s. We had some nice signs. We had good pads. It's 9 holes. Really fun course. This property, I feel like they could have done more with. This one had a lot of more open land still that hadn't been used, but the holes that were in were great. If they just don't want to put the money to put more holes in, that's fine. It was a really fun course. I really liked it, but I think there's more space that they could add holes to make the park even better. It doesn't even have to be an 18. It could have been like a 12 or something. I feel like there was enough for like at least 3 more. But yeah, like it was pretty open again. Used the hole or the land where the trees were perfectly. There's some tunnel shots. You had some natural OBs with like just long grass, but the long grass, the fairways were big enough where it's not like punishing or anything. So great course. I really like that one. Next, course number 9 so this would have been on Sunday morning. I went to Scranton City Disc Golf Course in Scranton, Iowa. It was 9. There was concrete pads. There's veterans baskets, and this one was just crowded around a baseball field. There's no like obstacles. There's just straight open shots. I guess hole 9 there's a tree like right next to the tee pad, but like you're not gonna hit it. I guess some of the tree was literally on the tee pad, but you could like move to the left enough that it wasn't even in your way. But yeah, it was weird. Where I was not like representative of like what the course quality was, I guess. It was just like the amount of work that they put into this course for what they had, I felt was just, it didn't really match. the concrete tee pads probably were not needed. They probably could have just. I don't have issues with concrete tee pads, or not having concrete tee pads. If a course like is in like a nature area, I don't want them to have concrete tee pads. And then, like it was nice because this was just park and everything, but the park wasn't quality enough where I think the city probably could have put the money somewhere else. It didn't really seem like that nice of a like town or village or city, I guess. So I feel like they could put the money somewhere else in the parks. And then the baskets for veterans. I'm not really sure exactly where prices are, but I feel like you could have got some cheaper DGA baskets. They would have been just as fine compared to like the veterans, which I know people have issues with, but yeah, we'll move on to Dominique Park, probably butchered that, in Jefferson, Iowa. This one is the one that I was gonna say, I'm not sure if it's better than Jesse Trails or worse. I think I like it a little bit better, but like it was, both had their pros and both had their cons. So this is 18 holes. It is concrete pads, but most holes had 2. Some holes only had 1 because they were shorter holes, and there's no need for 2. And then there are mock X baskets. It was partially wooded, partially open. It was so fun. I really like this course. It took me about an hour to play, which there were like 600-foot holes. There was also, it just like, but the holes itself were challenging, but at the same time, you weren't like totally punished if you missed your line. So it was one of those ones where like if I had a bad shot, I was able to find my disc and I was able to recover from it. I might not get a birdie, but I'm still able to get my pars. Whereas like some courses you go for birdie and like you ended up getting a bogey because you missed your line by a little bit. Whereas this course, it wasn't like that. So it really reminded me of my home course. Like it was right next to like a creek and stuff. And like I feel like those 18-hole courses that you could play in an hour. This one I wasn't even like trying to rush. Sometimes I try to rush, but this one I was just kind of taking my time. I really wanted to play well here. And it still took me an hour, or like the perfect ones. Like if I played one that took me like an hour and a half, 2 hours every day, I just get so exhausted with disc golf and stuff like that. Like this was like the perfect course where you can practice some really tight, challenging shots, but you're not just gonna get exhausted. And then one of the holes was really cool. I think it was Mara themed. I thought it was a really cool thing. We have a lighthouse hole, so it was like another thing. It just kind of reminded me, another like, kind of gimmicky, but like it was still a good disc golf hole even without the gimmicks. So like it didn't matter that they were there if they're not. It was just awesome. I really like that course. So next we have this is on the 4th, Door Creek Church in DeForest, Iowa, or DeForest, Wisconsin. Sorry, I'm out of Iowa at this point now. I'm back in Wisconsin playing my courses, and it was kind of just 9 holes, 9 baskets, disc catchers, just kind of sitting around the woods. They I assume they're gonna put more work into it, but right now they just don't have anything. There's another Door Creek Church, also near Madison, Wisconsin, and they have put pads in now and stuff. I believe they have tee signs, but this course had like nothing besides the baskets. A lot of really short holes, stuff like that. But yeah, it was just kind of baskets because there's no way to know where to go except for on U-disc. So yeah, it was pretty rough. Next we have Dodgeland School District in Juneau, Wisconsin. Also 9 holes. Had some rubber pads, Mach 3s. It's pretty open. There's some aceable holes, stuff like that. There's a lot of walking there. You had to like, there's some holes where there's some big gaps in between the holes because they just kind of like surrounded the school. But right now, you have to be careful because there is construction going on. I'm on the 4th, so there's no construction going on, so that made it easy for me. But yeah, you have to be careful. Next, we have Mayville Rotary Club. This was a 9-hole course with veteran baskets, concrete tee pads, and signs. I think this course was also pretty new because everything about it seemed really new. Everything seemed pristine. I really like this course. I actually destroyed my finger. I don't know if you can see that. But at this point, I birded it over the weekend. The blister had ripped off, so I was only playing with 3 fingers, which made it very interesting. Doing my power grip with only 3 fingers on my backhand drives that I didn't even try forehand because that finger is being gone. But it was really fun. It had some decent elevation, had some decent wooded shots and stuff like that. I like this course. I wish I would have been able to play it with all 5 of my fingers, all 4 of the backhand fingers, and then the thumb on top, obviously. But that would have been really nice. Otherwise, besides that, yeah, I really like the course. So the last course of the weekend, course 14, is Comet Creek in Brownsville. 9 holes, Mach X's, concrete tee beds. This one was a little biased. I'm gonna be a little biased too because it was downpouring, so I was kind of running around like a chicken with my head cut off, and I couldn't take my phone out. But besides that, it was like the holes themselves pretty good. Some wooded, some open. I really like the wooded shots, but so much walking in between some of those holes. It was very easy to get lost. I don't know if playing 327 courses really helps me with this, but I feel like because I've played that many courses, I kind of have some flow of how a disc golf course should be, and like I still got so lost in some of the holes. I couldn't even find the tee pad. So the holes themselves were really fun, but just some weird walking and very easy to get lost, I feel like. So yeah, that's the 14 courses that I played. I'm kind of thinking about doing a like challenge video when I get to 350 courses, so that'll be about 23. So I guess by the end of summer I'd be there, where I do a kind of like a game where somebody, I don't know where I'll be at this time. If I'm home, it'll probably be one of my parents. They just kind of they just like go on my map of UDisc, click a random course and say it's Flip City Disc Golf Course. Don't know exactly where that is. It's in Michigan. I just don't know the exact city right now off the top of my head. But all they're gonna give me is the name and the city, and I like go through and kind of try to describe it as best as I can and see how well I know these courses. Obviously, I used a note card right now just so I didn't miss anything. But like overall, some people like ask me like, do you remember all the courses? I feel like I do, and I feel like that'd be really fun. Let me know. Besides that, like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's kind of a weird video, but I kind of wanted to do this just because I wanted to emphasize that I do want to review the video or the courses I played, and I just don't want to like play them so I can mark them off the list sometimes. I actually want to like show that I do care about the course a little bit, and like hopefully you guys can use it. Say if you don't want to play all these courses, but you're like, is this gonna be a waste of your time or not? Yeah, that's about it. Like and subscribe. See you next time.